creator, maker, crayon evangelist, chief talkative officer, design Jedi, VP of miscellaneous stuff. There's no limit to how creative one can get with various job titles. Well, why not? Imagine how cool it would look to have them on your business card or on the LinkedIn headers. But such titles can also create some complexities. Not just the fancy ones which I mentioned, but even the most common ones can get really confusing. In fact, two of the most commonly confused design titles in the industry are also two of the most popular ones: UX designer and product designer. People often reach out to me asking me about the differences between these two. So I thought this is the right time. So today, let us find out what the difference between these two titles of UX designer and product designer are, and if they should even matter to you. Stay tuned. Awesome people, welcome to my channel. This is Sapta, and if you're here for the first time, this is the place where I help designers build and scale their career with tips, strategies and tutorials. So if you're into it, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. In the last 5 years, I've worked for 3 well-known startups as a designer. But my title was different every single time. I don't mean the difference in title that comes when you move up in your career. That certainly happened. But in my case, the function and even the role was named differently. I was a UX designer in my first company, an interaction designer in the second, and a product designer in my third company, which is also my present. It's true that the companies that I work for are different and they make different things for different people. But besides that difference in the domain, I don't think there was any other major distinction in the nature of the work that I did. So let's go ahead and find out what these big titles and these big words actually mean. Let us start with the more popular of the two, UX designer or user experience designer. As the name suggests, UX designers design experiences for users. They are very focused. So focused that you can compare them with shooters. A shooter always thinks about the target first. They know everything that is needed to drive the bullet to the bullseye. From the way the gun should be held to the way the trigger should be pressed. They know everything. In the same way, the first thing a UX designer ever thinks about is the user. Their entire work and decisions are centered around the user. They understand the likes, dislikes, needs, wants, fears, and even the aspirations of their users. And to achieve that, they also possess every skill from design thinking, information architecture, research, interfaces, all the way up to visuals, copywriting, illustrations, and even motion design. In short, anything and everything that is needed to create great digital experiences. Whoa, now that list is very exhaustive. That sounds like everything you were told you need to do to be a great designer, right? I mean, what else is remaining? Well, there are a few things. And that brings us to the next title, which is product designer. When we design anything, our primary objective is to solve a problem for the user. And in the process, we design experiences that attempt to do the same. These experiences, which may consist of concrete as well as abstract elements, are bundled in the form of a package which can be given to the user for using. This package is called a product. For example, it's not easy to find a cab when you need one. To have a cab at your doorstep when you need it is a great experience, which is available in the form of a product like Uber. Having good food at your disposal is a problem. Getting food delivered to your home is a great experience, which is offered in the form of products like Swiggy. Circulating cool air on a hot summer day is a great experience, offered again in the form of a product like the ceiling fan. The examples are endless. To sum up, a product is a means by which an experience can be carried and made available to the user effectively. So along with thinking about the user, one of the first things a product designer ever does is to think about the product at large. They also have every skill that a UX designer has, just that they apply them in a slightly different way. You can compare product designers with soldiers. A soldier always thinks about winning the battle first instead of trying to make each and every shot perfect. Of course, they need to be great shooters as well, but that may not be enough. Along with the skill of sharpshooting, strategy, planning, combating, teamwork, and at times even retreating might be needed to win the whole battle. In the same way, a product designer has a holistic understanding of the entire system, where user experience is just one part of it. A very important part, but certainly not the only one. Along with user experience, a product designer needs to understand the timelines, the vision of the product, the tech constraints, and also the revenue aspects of the business. Well, I'm not saying that they are experts in all of them, but they certainly have a good amount of understanding of how everything works, how the entire system works. Think of it, it would be good to have experiences that are perfect for the user. But if the same experience is not feasible to maintain and sustain, it's going to die very soon. I know that the user or the customer is the king, but imagine if the kingdom ceases to exist, the king alone cannot go further, right? So here's what product designers do. They understand every aspect and make smart trade-offs. The kind of trade-off in which one aspect may take a bit of a hit, but overall, it's still in the sweet spot. The point is to have great experiences for the user for a longer time versus a perfect experience which may remain only for a very short time. After listening to all these things, you might be thinking, wait a minute, I already do all these things. Does it mean I'm a product designer already? Yes, you are right. You are already a product designer if you do all these things. In fact, if you design experiences for a product company, it is highly likely that you're already functioning at a capacity of a product designer no matter what your official title says. It's just a preference of the companies to use different titles, which doesn't necessarily differentiate the role or the work that you get to do there. Although there are underlying differences between these two titles, but for every practical purpose, they mean the same, at least from a job finding perspective. These days, more and more companies are moving towards adopting product designer as their default title so as to remove all this confusion that we have spoken about. But that doesn't mean that a company which hasn't made this switch is doing any kind of inferior work. These are unrelated. So next time when you're applying for a job or speaking to a potential employer, don't bother negotiating the name. It's just a name anyways. Instead, ask about the work that you will get to do, the part of the product that you will get to work on, and the kind of decisions that you will get to make as a part of that role. These are really important. Oh yeah, ask about the compensation as well and make sure you negotiate well. What? You've never done that before? Well, then that can be a different video. Do let me know in the comment section if you want me to make a video on how to negotiate your compensation well. If you like this video, like, share, subscribe, and don't forget to hit the bell icon so that you get notified every time I upload a new video. If you want me to make a video on anything particular, do let me know in the comment section so that I can get back to you there. This is Sapta. See you guys in the next one.